Good morning, everybody. 9 a.m., 30 degrees on this Thursday. I'm Melissa Holmes with another half hour of Daybreak, and we begin with this SWAT situation in Buffalo's Black Rock neighborhood. It happened around 6:45 this morning. We captured this video of a SWAT vehicle and lots of officers going in and out of a home. This was in the area of Clay Street and Austin Street in Black Rock. The area was briefly closed off, but it has since reopened. We did reach out to city officials to find out why they were there, and they told us the situation is linked to a search warrant for drugs and guns. They didn't give us any details beyond that, but they said that the public was not at risk. We'll update you once we learn more. We're also getting more insight on to what led up to the arrest of Buffalo police officer Lance Woods, who's accused of killing his wife. The officer is currently sitting in jail without bail. He is on leave from the police department without pay. But now a Buffalo police captain, we're told, who's tied to all of this in some way, is suspended with pay. And some are asking now, what did she know and when did she know it? We now have a timeline of what exactly happened. Buffalo police released this timeline yesterday that on Valentine's Day around 4:30 in the afternoon, police say Alexis Skichelis' mother called to try to get in contact with Woods. She called the police department trying to get in touch with Woods. Then she called again an hour later and spoke with a captain. Police say that the captain spoke with Officer Woods at the D District at 7:52 p.m., confirming that he had two children with him at the police department, and they left around 8 p.m. Shortly after midnight, Lewiston police found Skichelis' body inside her home. And then a few hours later at 3 a.m., Woods was detained by Amherst and Cheektowaga police. As the investigation continues, the interim police chief tells us that he is not happy with the timeline or how things were handled that night.
I'm not overly happy with the timeline on when other members were notified in the department of this situation, and we do have some information that would lead us to believe that there is some rules and regulations that might not have been followed, but I will let that investigation play out.
Again, police were being transparent and told us that a captain has been placed on leave with pay. We don't know that captain's name or her identity or why she was placed on leave, but we are working to find that out, and once we learn more, we will bring it to you. $100,000. That is the size of the massive reward that's now on the table to find whoever vandalized the new Bills Stadium. The company working on the project, Gilbane Turner, says that they're looking for information that leads to an arrest and conviction for the person or people responsible for disturbing graffiti that paused construction at the new stadium. The company says that it suspended work the past few days out of respect for its workers. As we've mentioned, the graffiti is being described as pornographic and anti-LGBTQ, and it happened in the locker room and suites areas of the new stadium. We're also told that many believe it's an inside job because of the security it takes to get into those particular areas. Now, in a statement, the company said that this kind of act undermines the environment they expect for projects, saying, quote, "When that standard is violated, we address it and take the time to reset expectations. That is who we are and how we operate," end quote. Work is set to resume tomorrow on the new stadium, with about 1,500 workers expected to be back on the job site. In other news this morning, Amherst Police Detective Greg Trotter pleaded guilty yesterday to a misdemeanor in order to resolve a felony charge filed against him by the federal government. Trotter was charged with lying to the FBI about his relationship with former Faro strip club owner Peter Gerace, who was later convicted of drug and sex trafficking charges. 2 Side's Dave McKinley has more.
Charges against Trotter stem from a meeting at a Panera Bread in 2022 secretly recorded by FBI Special Agent Jason Camarant, where Trotter said he only knew Gerace from having handled a harassment complaint Gerace filed against his ex-wife and hadn't been in contact with him since 2017. Gerace's cell phone records indicated, though, roughly 200 calls and messages between the two into the year 2020. Still, at a trial last year, the jury was unable to reach a verdict. But on the eve of a planned retrial, Trotter pled guilty to a lesser charge. Today, prosecutors claim when Agent Camerad pressed Trotter multiple times about his relationship with DeRace, Trotter became agitated and, knowing that Trotter was a trained law enforcement officer who was possibly armed, it caused Camerad to back off in his questioning. Thus, Trotter's conduct impeded Camerad in the performance of his duties and created an objectively reasonable apprehension of harm. As part of his guilty plea, when asked by the judge whether he impeded a law enforcement agent, Trotter replied in court, "Yes, I scared Agent Camerad."
Maybe he should be in real estate instead of special agenting. Who knows?
Trotter's attorney, Don Thompson, said the plea bargain was in part driven by his clients already having spent considerable sums to defend himself and the risk of being convicted at a second trial.
This was a massive overreach and a travesty, but in any case, there's a risk. You know, it's a long time. We've been over 2 years on this. It's expensive.
On your side, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
Well, the Buffalo Airport just got a major boost in federal funding. Nearly $1.5 million will help improve how they clear the snow there. The money will be used for high-capacity snow melters and a new runway snowblower. Congressman Nick Langworthy says this will allow snow removal to happen quicker and more efficiently. He says Buffalo is known for its harsh winters and that investing in travel is an investment in safety.
We must make the proper investments for our unique climate needs and that also protect the safety of our workers and our travelers alike.
And Langworthy says this winter has been challenging with over 80 inches of snow recorded so far at the airport. But Kevin, snow-wise, I mean, is 80 inches really that much worse than other winters?
It's slightly above average. We've had our share of weather drama, haven't we?
Yes, we certainly have.
But things are going to be a little boring, at least for today. And again, when you're talking about weather, boring is good. This is not a cool new effect here. This is actually our Hyatt camera that is glazed over. Glazed donuts, good. Glazed cameras, no. But that's what we're dealing with. And again, if you haven't stepped outside today, you may take an extra long step. I may do a double axle on the way to the car, so just be extra careful out there. Walk like a penguin, okay? There are some slippery spots. Trust me, I just did a live shot in Niagara Street, and it was certainly some icy spots out there, and they're hard to see when they're so thin, but they can do the damage. No precipitation right now in western New York, and again, pretty dry day today, but the clouds are going to linger, unfortunately. Today's relatively calm, a little bit warmer than average. The action happens tomorrow. And again, the rain arrives overnight, close to dawn. I think there'll be some showers for the morning commute, windshield wiper weather. I think it'll be on the gusty side as well, up to 35 miles per hour. So again, kind of gusty, gray, with some showers around, especially in the morning, the story for your Friday. And this might be over to, they may transition to sort of a wintry mix and maybe some light snow south of Buffalo, I think, but nothing to really impact the afternoon commute. If you got some Friday night plans, you may have some flakes, but again, nothing we can't handle, nothing to impede your progress. Saturday, some snow showers around. Not a bad day to enjoy the outdoors. Temperatures around average, a high around the freezing mark. And Sunday, more of the same. There are no watches, warnings, or advisories from the National Weather Service, and there are no weather impact alerts from friends at Storm Team 2. I will give you a heads up that there is a dense fog advisory undergoing right now for the southern half of our viewership. That's about to elapse, I think, at 10 a.m. In terms of total rain, about a quarter inch to a half inch, with the higher amounts being for the northern part of our viewership and closer to a quarter inch if you live close to the NYPA line. So today, again, no drama, mostly cloudy, kind of drab, 41 degrees. And then the rain arrives around 3 a.m.-ish and probably hangs around for the morning commute. Not a pouring rain, just some light showers. And again, nothing you got to shovel. It'll be on the breezy side, though. Notice with gusts up to 35 miles per hour off the lake. And again, no red here, no weather impact alerts. We're going to be temperatures slightly above average. And then we sort of do fall back. The pendulum swings to below average temperatures when the kids are back in school. But again, no big differences as we show you the zone forecast from zone to zone. Just some snow showers around for the weekend. Highs roughly in the freezing mark, low 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah, nothing we can't handle there, Kevin. Thank you. Coming up after the break, we will talk men and women's Olympic hockey, and also sitting down with Pete Gallivan, who is celebrating 30 years here at Channel 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Time to talk Olympics, and I'm joined by Kevin here on set.
Hey!
Hey, have you been watching the Olympics at all? I
Not that much.
haven't had a chance to chat with you at all. Okay, so are you a summer or winter Olympics type of guy?
I like the team sports. I'll watch the hockey and I'll watch the volleyball. I don't like to judge sports that much.
Where it can be so particular with one judge thinking this and one judge thinking
very interested in the hockey, and I did watch the USA game, and I'll be watching the women play.
So let's talk about that right now. The game yesterday, the Team USA, Tage Thompson, they were up the entire game until like the last minute.
Yep, absolutely.
And then Sweden and Dahlin's team tied it up with 1 minute to play in regulation. But fortunately, Quinn Hughes of the Minnesota Wild scored the game winner in overtime. So that means next the U.S. will play Slovakia in the semifinals. That game is at 3:10 tomorrow afternoon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of the gold medal game being on at 8 a.m. Sunday. If no matter who makes it, you figure USA and or Canada will make it to the gold medal game. It's going to be 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific. So I can imagine being a big hockey fan. You want to promote the sport in North America, and it's going to be a 5 a.m. tip, puck drop for the gold medal.
So do you tape it, like DVR it, and then try to stay off social media, and then actually watch it in the afternoon on Saturday?
I don't mind. 8 a.m. is fine. That's in our wheelhouse.
Sure.
But again, if you want to promote the sport, and I would, and again, if obviously the Olympics are in Europe, so they got to take that in mind as well. But geez, couldn't they make it like in the afternoon at least? I know.
Yeah. Speaking of afternoon hockey, the women's hockey gold medal game is today at 1:10 p.m. That works out well with our schedule, but for a lot of people who are at work, they might be sneaking in some streaming or something on their computer at work. It's Team USA and Canada, and we are so excited for Gettsville's own Haley Skimura, who graduated from Nichols. She's on the team, and Rochester's Haley Wynn is also on the team. But how about this? I had no idea. The Sabres forward, Josh Dunn, has rooting interest in both sides because his sister Joy is on Team USA, and his girlfriend Ella Shelton is on Team Canada. So Dunn is spending part of his NHL Olympic break in Milan watching both his sister and his girlfriend. And so today he says he'll be cheering both on from afar.
It's a funny situation, like it's a win-lose situation no matter what, but I'm just so proud of them both, and I'm so happy for them both. Like, to get to the highest level, the Olympic gold medal game, they've both earned it. They both worked so hard. They've had different career paths, but it's so exciting to see the journeys and the growth they've had. And I mean, I just couldn't be more proud of them both. So for me, it's in a way it's stress-free because I'm just watching them enjoy themselves and living out their dream. So it's a good problem to have. I'll put it that way.
So women's hockey, again, gold medal game, USA versus Canada at 1:10 p.m. But how about the Dunn parents raising an NHL star and then also this Olympic hockey star also, Joy Dunn? That's amazing. And
it's a lot of time in a hockey rink.
No kidding. And it's, Pete brought up, the Tkachuk brothers also. I mean, good genes in that family. And apparently Hughes is also, he's got a brother playing or something like that.
Yeah, there's the Jack Hughes too.
Okay.
So,
those are good hockey genes in all of those families.
Good hockey parents too.
Yes. Can you imagine what their basements or garages smell like with all that equipment too?
Plus the holes in the windows.
Right. And dents in the garage door and stuff.
Oh yeah, classic.
The bank account.
Oh, there's
the
Pete
bank account.
Talking hockey.
Yep.
We'll have Pete come
I thought I smelled a hockey bag walking in.
As for the Sabres, you saw Josh Dunn talking there at Harbor Center or KeyBank Center, wherever they were practicing yesterday, because the Sabres are back in action. I can't wait for the Sabres to play again. It's a week from yesterday, so this coming Wednesday will be their first game after the Olympic break. And Jonathan Acosta was with the team yesterday at Harbor Center for their first return back to practice.
With Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin at the Olympics in Italy,
I've caught quite a bit. I thought they both represented our team great.
The rest of their Sabres teammates returning to the ice back here in Buffalo on Wednesday.
Good to get back and get going. We met here yesterday for a while and got to skate in today. We'll get a couple of days of skating and get ready to roll.
This practice at Harbor Center, the first one for the Sabres since the start of the Olympic break, with 13 days passing since the last time we saw the team in action on February 5th.
He said, get your whistle out. I said, don't worry, we'll get it out. No, it's been mapped out. Today was more about conditioning and compete, and we probably went over, not probably, we went over where we had kind of mapped out.
The Sabres entered the break holding on to a wild card spot, putting them in position to break their record-long 14-year playoff drought. However, 25 games remain from making that dream a reality, and knowing what's on the line, adding even more hunger to this Sabres team as they return to action.
I kind of realized that there's only 25 games left, and really just, put all your eggs into one basket and, go out on a high note and just, control the things that we can, and we'll see what happens.
I think the break is obviously nice for everybody. Just give the bodies and mind a rest, but obviously it was a longer break than usual, so I think definitely towards the end everyone was pretty eager and excited to get back, especially how our season's been going and where we are in the standings. Everyone's excited to keep playing and finish the push here.
A nice long break coming to an end ahead of the most important push of the season and possibly the last decade plus of Sabres hockey. On your side at Harbor Center, Jonathan Acosta, Channel 2 Sports.
Let's go.
I know. Patrick said yesterday that Paul Hamilton said that with the 25 games left, the Sabres only need to be at 500 for the remainder of the season in order to make the playoffs.
There's a bit of a break. There's like the top 8 teams, and then there is a bit of a spacing. I don't know how many points of like the after them. So as long as they're somewhere in that cluster of 8,
yeah,
they're going to make the postseason. And there's a few point gaps between the 9 through 16 or whatever. So yeah, hopefully they are able to just play 500 hockey.
Yeah. And we got to see about injuries. Obviously, UPL was injured before the break, so will Pekka Luukkonen.
I was worried about Dahlin. Dahlin took a huge tumble.
Exactly. Pete was showing me the highlights earlier this morning. Could possibly kind of even looked like there could be a concussion.
Right.
But it was kind of a nasty hit. He did get up, but then he didn't play again.
Yeah, he was on the ice for the Swedish goal.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was on the ice for the Swedish goal. So he did get up and play again. So it might have been one of those things where he just kind of made sure the refs see it, make sure the refs saw it.
Okay.
But he did get up in the same shift, and
But then after that shift, he didn't play again. No,
I don't.
That's what Pete's saying.
Not in the overtime. He didn't play in the overtime.
Right.
But later on that shift, he was he was on the ice when they
had the tying game. Tying goal. Okay, got it. Anyway, we'll all be watching now that he'll be coming home soon. We'll watch to see how
Go Tage.
Yeah? All right. Okay. So as you heard, Pete's in the studio. We'll bring him back to set coming up right after the break. Welcome back, everybody. We're joined by Pete, who is 30 years old today.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
It says happy 30th, Pete, but I don't think it's his birthday.
No, 30 years here at Channel 2. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, yesterday was the actual anniversary, but it's just unbelievable. It flew by. And I was looking through some old pictures, and one of the first big things we did was the torch run for the 96 Olympics. And Kevin O'Connell ran the torch. And I was tasked with starting early in the morning down in Ripley at the state line for when it crossed. And I followed it all the way up through Fredonia, all the way up, and then Ed ran it up Delaware Avenue by the station. It was
so full circle moment that your 30th is coming, with another Olympics.
Nice.
Exactly.
But it wasn't, you weren't on Daybreak initially. Daybreak didn't start yet.
Right. I was I was a reporter, and then within a year, I was a weekend anchor. And then about a year later, they made a change. Harold Fisher left, and they put me in. And
with Mary Alice.
With Mary Alice, yeah, for a long time.
Amazing.
And I forget, one of the biggest things, there he is.
Look at that.
God.
One of the biggest things about that time is Channel 4 had this crazy knucklehead. And
wait a minute. No, there's you in there. That was fantastic.
And we had to do antics like this. What was that guy's name? Oh, no, that was you. Never mind.
Yeah, right.
But
there's
Vacation
Pete. That is one of my. You have to bring that look back as Vacation Pete.
And we have to explain this. Patrick, since he met me, said I look like Treat Williams, so that's why that is.
Look at that. You do there.
And it's not
like a Harlequin model there, Pete. And that's your Rick Jenneret look.
That was RJ Day, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, it was.
You've had a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been it's been my honor being able to sit next to you on Daybreak for so many years and to learn so much from you. And Pete, if you don't know, is like one of the hardest working guys at the station, not just anchoring Daybreak, but going out with this camera, setting up stories, shooting stories, writing and editing stories, doing community with Claudine every month, and also playing such a big role in our community and volunteering with Saba and all of the work that you do in this community to highlight the amazing people and places and things here. And it's just incredible, Pete.
Well, it's amazing because if I had more initiative, I'd probably be in a, but just stuck here. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I worked in Rochester for about 7 or 8 years before. And my big goal was to get home and get back to Buffalo. And finally something opened up in '96 here, and they had an expansion of the staff, and you know, Stacy Roeder welcomed me in with open arms, and the rest is history. And I've been able to do some incredible stories and experiences. Went in '96. One of the first big stories I did was they were doing war games off the East Coast, and Stacy said there's just tons of it was the biggest peacetime military operation since the end of World War II. And I went down there, and it was just a gut feeling from our news director saying, with that many people down there, there's going to be news come out of that. And unfortunately, 2 military helicopters collided, and we were the only New York State station down there. But just from that to covering the Sabres, and covering the Sabres in Dallas in the finals, and going to Normandy and sharing all the unknown stories of these, I mean, honest to goodness heroes that came out of Western New York and sacrificed themselves on the beaches of Normandy and some of the small towns of France. It's just, you know, it's been an incredible experience and an honor for me to be able to bring those stories.
What else do you want to do in your career? Because we're not like recognizing you in your 30 years because you're leaving. You're not leaving anytime soon. So what else do you want to do?
I could use a nap.
Hey,
use a nap or two.
there you go.
How about Bill's Super Bowl or Sabre Stanley Cup, right?
Yes.
That's the big thing. I want to cover either a Super Bowl parade or a Stanley Cup parade.
That'd be your final story. I'm retiring. It doesn't get any better than this.
Absolutely. And you know, because I was on the turf at the Odd when the Bandits won their last championship in the Odd, and that was unbelievable. But you know, just to be able to cover the Sabres bringing home the cup, or the Bills, it's just amazing. Yeah, amazing.
All right. Now I get to ask a tough question.
Sure.
You left for only 6 months.
4 months.
4 months.
Longest 4 months of my life.
What made you want to come back into the business?
As soon as I got out the door and tried public relations and communications for a hot minute, I realized that in that I'm a mouthpiece. I'm not a storyteller at that point. But I knew that immediately that wasn't right. That wasn't the right fit for me. I just love telling stories, and the unknown stories are really what have driven me for the past 2 decades. It's just, you know, these like hidden pieces of Buffalo history that we all have so much pride in. And I joked when we first started this, it was, you know, long before Canal Side, long before the resurgence of Buffalo, and people were always so interested in those stories. And I just kind of explained it that Buffalo's got such a huge, unbelievable history that at that time we were kind of, you know, meandering through our place in the country, and people were so proud of their history because they didn't really have a clear view of the future. Well, now we've got both. Now we've got both to celebrate.
And your passion for the history of Buffalo and Western New York has really inspired a lot of people who watch your stories also and say, oh, I didn't know that. And it's so fascinating. And so you bring so much, you know, in a time when journalism and television news is like, just get quick stories on the air, you are a storyteller and giving people a reason to watch with things that they may have grown up their entire lives, like the three of us here, don't know these things.
I've learned a lot from Pete's stories.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I'm born and raised in Western New York as well. I've joked that I'm a pretty Buffalo-y kind of guy, but as long as Pete's in the room, he's going to be the Buffalo-iest. And if he's the one-man trivia team, you could have a
Wikipedia.
team of Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, so just it's only a matter of time before you and your hairpiece are in the Buffalo Broadcasting Hall of Fame.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, some of these things that people pass by all the time. That's kind of what started it, is my dad used to say, hey, this, that, and the other thing. He had a Buffalo room in our house growing up with all this kind of memorabilia and books, and he was just a huge buff of Buffalo history. And I heard some of these stories, and then I wound up doing unknown stories on them, thinking he was making up the stories, but he wasn't. He wasn't.
Well, Pete, we are so appreciative of everything you've given the station over 30 years, and that Sarah and Brenna and Hannah and Ben have been able to share you with us for all of these years. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. Only two of them were around when I started here, Brenna and Sarah.
Bye, everybody.